Have you ever noticed that a toxic relationship can end and somehow that person still keeps living rent-free in your mind? And it's not even because you still want them back, but because they left you questioning your value. That's the part people don't talk about enough. Heartbreak hurts, obviously, but what really messes with you is how it can make you doubt your self-worth, your instincts, and even your ability to be loved well. And here's the weird part. A lot of people think healing starts when you finally move on, stop caring, or prove you're doing better without them. But what if that's not actually true? Real healing starts the moment you realize that learning how to heal after a toxic relationship is not about getting them back, getting closure from them, or looking unbothered. It's about no longer letting someone else's broken behavior define how you see yourself or how much you're worth. So if you've been trying to figure out how to heal from rejection, how to love yourself after heartbreak, and how to come back to yourself without pretending you're fine when you're really not, this video is for you. Today, we're going to walk through 6 powerful shifts that can help you rebuild from the inside out. These are not just nice ideas or empty quotes, they're real self-love shifts. And honestly, some of them might change the way you've been thinking about healing. Number 1, why toxic relationships and rejection damage self-worth so deeply. When a toxic relationship ends or rejection hits, it usually doesn't stay in your heart. It goes straight for your self-worth. You don't just feel hurt. You start wondering if something about you was too much, not enough, or somehow hard to love. That's why learning how to heal after a toxic relationship or how to heal from rejection can feel so brutal at first. The pain isn't just emotional, it feels personal. You look in the mirror and start questioning your beauty, your intelligence, your value. It's like one person's inability to love you properly suddenly gets to rewrite your whole identity. But here's something worth thinking about. Just because you're blaming yourself doesn't mean you were actually the problem. People do what they do for all kinds of reasons, and not all of them have anything to do with you. I once heard a psychologist say that some people leave relationships not because they don't care, but because the feelings get too real and they don't know how to deal with them. Honestly, isn't that kind of mind-blowing? So when heartbreak hits, take a breath and ask yourself, did I do what was within my control? Did I give the best of me in an honest way? If the answer is yes, then the deepest wound is no longer just what happened. It's the meaning you attach to it and the story you start telling yourself about why it happened. Number 2, how people start blaming themselves for what happened. After rejection or a toxic relationship, your mind can turn into a courtroom. Somehow, you're the judge, the lawyer, and the one on trial. You replay texts, facial expressions, conversations, and tiny moments like they hold the secret answer to why you weren't chosen. You start asking yourself painful questions. What did I do wrong? Why wasn't I enough? Should I have been calmer, prettier, smarter, less emotional? That spiral is brutal. Because instead of learning how to heal from rejection, you end up analyzing yourself like you're the problem that needs fixing. I've seen this happen again and again, and maybe you have too. Someone gets hurt, and instead of simply grieving what happened, they go searching for that one perfect answer that explains it all. When in reality, there could be 1,000 reasons, just like we talked about earlier. But that's where things get dangerous, because sometimes the real issue isn't what you did. Sometimes it's how quickly pain convinces you to turn against yourself. Number 3, the difference between wanting love and abandoning yourself for love. There's nothing wrong with wanting love. That's human, that's natural, that's part of being alive. The problem starts when, in trying to be loved, you start shrinking yourself so much that you can barely hear your own voice anymore. A lot of people do this without even noticing. You stay quiet when something hurts. You laugh off disrespect. You accept crumbs and call it patience. But that's not self-love. That's survival dressed up like devotion. And over time, it teaches you that being chosen matters more than being true to yourself. Real healing begins when you realize that how to love yourself after heartbreak is not about becoming cold, guarded, or impossible to reach. It's about coming back home to yourself. And once you start noticing how often you put your own needs aside just to keep someone, you begin to understand why healing can't be built around the hope that they'll come back. Number 4. Why healing isn't about getting them back or proving your worth. A lot of people say they want to heal, but deep down, part of them is still hoping the healing will make the other person come back, or apologize, or finally see their value, as if the same person who hurt them could also be the one to heal them. And listen, that's a very human reaction, but it also keeps your recovery tied to the same person who damaged your self-worth in the first place. When your peace depends on them regretting the loss, you're still giving them power over your inner world. How to heal after a toxic relationship is not about becoming so amazing that they feel stupid for leaving. It's about bringing all that love back to yourself and no longer needing their guilt, confusion, or validation to feel whole again. That's when real healing begins. When you stop asking, "How do I make them see what they lost?" and start asking, "How do I stop losing myself over someone who couldn't love me well?" That question changes everything, because that's when self-love stops being a nice idea and starts becoming a real practice. Number 5. What self-love actually looks like after heartbreak. After heartbreak, self-love usually looks a lot less glamorous than people make it sound. Most of the time, it looks like crying without judging yourself for it. It looks like eating something nourishing when all you want to do is hide under a blanket and shut the world out for a while. It also looks practical. Sometimes it means not checking their profile to see what they're up to, deleting the message you keep rewriting but never send, going for a walk without letting your mind turn it into a whole emotional movie. How to love yourself after heartbreak is built in small choices like journaling for 10 minutes, reading a good book about self-worth, or reaching out to the friend who helps bring you back to reality instead of deeper into fantasy. And little by little, as you stop chasing what hurt you, you start remembering who you were before all that pain took up so much space. That's when healing starts to shift, because now it's not just about getting through it. It's about rebuilding something stronger. Rebuilding yourself after heartbreak is not about turning into someone else. It's about finding your way back to the parts of you that got buried under pain, fear, and overthinking. It's about remembering your value, seeing your own strength again, and realizing that you were never lacking just because someone failed to see your worth. How to heal from rejection often begins when you stop asking who they wanted you to be and start asking who you are now. And the truth is, that process can start in surprisingly simple ways. Keeping promises to yourself, getting dressed in a way that makes you feel like you again, trying something that's just for you, a class, a hobby, a solo coffee date where you remember that your own company is not a punishment. Bit by bit, your self-worth grows every time your actions tell your nervous system, "I'm not abandoning you anymore." And then your standards start rising almost without you noticing. Because self-love changes what feels acceptable. Keeping promises to yourself, getting dressed in a way that makes you feel like you again, trying something that's just for you. A class, a hobby, a solo coffee date where you remember that being alone with yourself is not a punishment. It can actually be peaceful, even healing. And little by little, your self-worth grows every time your actions tell your nervous system, "I'm here. I'm not abandoning you anymore." And before you know it, your standards start rising too, because self-love changes what you're willing to accept. Once you really start learning how to heal after a toxic relationship, you stop confusing chaos with chemistry. And that one shift alone can change what you allow, what you chase, and what you finally walk away from. So if this message hit you somewhere deep, don't let it become just another moment of awareness. Use it. Start applying these shifts in real life. Learning how to heal after a toxic relationship is not just something you understand in your head. It's something you feel in your heart and practice in your everyday choices, because deep down, you know your worth, and you know you deserve more. And the real practice begins in those hard moments, when the memories come back, when doubt creeps in, and when your old patterns try to pull you backward. The truth is, self-love and self-worth are not rebuilt in one huge breakthrough. And if you've been wondering how to heal from rejection or how to love yourself after heartbreak, maybe the real question now is this: how much longer are you willing to let pain define your standards, your identity, and the way you see yourself? Share your answer in the comments if you'd like. It might help someone else who's going through the same thing. And if this message made you think of a friend, share this video with them. Sometimes the message that changes someone's life arrives through one simple share. And if you want to keep learning how to heal, build your confidence, and create stronger emotional foundations, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.